All right, what's going on today, guys? We are going to be looking at a Steve Lukather style lick today. So Steve Lukather, if you don't know, you should know. He is not only a guitar player for the band Toto, but he played on the famous Michael Jackson record Thriller. He was the other guitar player on the track Beat It. Everybody knows that Van Halen did the solo, but the rest of it was actually Steve Lukather. Tons of movie soundtracks, television shows. He was a session guitar player, which people can't even really fathom today what that is, but basically it's a dude who makes music for film and television, reading charts. Something that doesn't really exist anymore outside of Nashville. So we're going to get into a Steve Lukather lick today. Before we get started, for this video and every other video on the channel, there is a Patreon available with full tablature. Link is going to be at the top right here. And on the Patreon, there is all kinds of cool stuff. There is scales to practice. There are, like I said, all the tablature for all the videos on the channel. And some stuff that isn't on the channel. So take a look. I'd love to hear from you. So here we go. Here's the lick we're going to be looking at today. Let me play it. We'll break it down. All right, so it's a fairly fast alternate picking run using groups of 6. We're in the key of F sharp minor. This is kind of a take on what Steve does in the Hold the Line solo. So on the low E string, we're going to have the 14th fret. We're going to go 14, 16, 17. And with our pick hand, we're going to go down, up, down. And then on the A string, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, 14, 16, 17, but I'm going to go up, down, up, down, up. That's beat 1 of the lick. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down, up, down, up, down, up. One thing that's cool about that is if you practice it, there's an upstroke on the string change. You really want to get that under your fingers. You can practice tons of iterations of that too. Go the other way with it. I'll do this a little bit slower so you guys can pick it up too. If you have questions about that, put them in the comments below. I'll tell you how to play that. So that's beat 1, 14, 16, 17, both strings. Down, up, down, up. Beat number 2 of the lick, we're going to be going 14, 16, 18 on the D string. We go down, up, down. Then on the G, we go 14, 16, 14, up, down, up. That's a little tricky to get. So we've got 2 beats. We've got 1, 2. Then beat 3, we go D string 16, 14, 16, G 14, 16, 14. Finger pattern. So on the D string for that one, I've got my second finger. This is where it gets kind of cool and kind of tricky. Second finger on the 16, pinky finger on the 18. Then on the 14 on the G, I've got first finger. 16 on the G, I've got second finger. So, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4 is just bending the 17th fret on the B string. You just bend that up. It's a quarter note, but it also carries over into the next bar. So it's a quarter note at the end, but then you're carrying it out for 4 beats. So the whole lick itself is actually 2 measures. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. Very cool little Steve Lukather lick. It's a speed burst, so like when you're playing, if you're going to integrate that into a solo that you're doing, you can base it around like slower, more melodic licks and more pentatonic based stuff. We all know our pentatonic scale. If you kind of stick on F sharp minor pentatonic, you can integrate this really well, which is kind of what he does in the Hold the Line solo. A lot of that solo is really just alternating between A major and F sharp minor using the pentatonic scale. And then he does like this really, really fast blazing run. The part that I did there is only half of what the lick is, but I like that part and I thought it was worth teaching. If you really want to get deep into his style, take a look at that solo and take a look at a bunch of Toto solos. Absolutely killer guitar player. So like if you were going to do that, you could do, like I said, like pentatonic stuff. You could go like, and you can basically integrate this faster line into your playing that will make your solos be a little bit more melodic and flow a little bit more. Steve is an excellent example on how to make solos kind of sing and how to make them digestible to a regular person when you're listening to kind of shred lines, which I'm guilty of, maybe overdoing it a little bit. Maybe your layperson doesn't need to hear sextuplet alternate picking nonstop into a tapping run. But we all like it, right? Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I'll be back next week with some more licks.